Coming up, a tentative deal between the president and House Speaker has been reached to increase the debt ceiling and cut back on government spending. But can it pass Congress as a pressing deadline looms? And Ukraine launches a drone attack on Moscow in the early morning hours, bringing the war to civilians at home in Russia's capital for the first time. The rundown starts now. This is Straight Arrow News, bringing you unbiased, straight facts. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kara Rucker. Congress has less than 1 week to review a 99-page bill that would raise the debt ceiling and prevent a default on the nation's debt. The president and House Speaker are in agreement. Now it's up to the House and Senate, each holding slim party majorities.
Look, you know I never say I'm confident what the Congress is going to do, but I feel very good about it. I spoke to a number of the members. I spoke to McConnell. I spoke to a whole bunch of people. And it feels good. We'll see when the vote starts.
Over the weekend, the White House and Speaker Kevin McCarthy worked out a deal called the Fiscal Responsibility Act. It would raise the debt ceiling through 2025 while keeping non-defense spending at about the same levels through 2024. The deal reduces some new funding for the IRS, takes back unspent COVID relief money, loosens some environmental rules, and adds work requirements for some social programs like food stamps. Under House rules, lawmakers must have 72 hours to review the bill, and since they received it on Sunday, Wednesday is the earliest day the House can vote. The Senate is predicting at the earliest a vote on Friday. The Treasury says the nation could default on its debt obligations by June 5th. In Hollywood Beach, Florida, 9 people were shot on Memorial Day after an argument between two groups of people near the Margaritaville Resort took a violent turn. The sound of gunfire sent beachgoers into a frenzy, running for cover.
I was laying down having a good time at the beach, and all of a sudden I heard like, pop, 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 like about 6, 7 shots. Everybody started running. Unfortunately, when that happened, the boardwalk was full of people. Everybody just started running left to right. And then I noticed that people got shot.
4 of the 9 people injured are reportedly under the age of 17, including a 1-year-old child. So far, police have 1 person detained. This was one of many shootings that took place over the holiday weekend. Across the U.S., at least 16 people died in shootings at beaches, high schools, and rallies. In Chicago alone, 47 people were shot, 9 fatally, this Memorial Day weekend. A building in Davenport, Iowa will be demolished later today after it partially collapsed Sunday night. There were no deaths reported after several people were rescued from the building by firefighters. A 6-story apartment building suddenly collapsed while work was underway to repair structural problems. The building was more than 100 years old. Officials had ordered the owner of the building to make repairs after residents complained of falling bricks and issues inside. The cause is still under investigation.
At this time, the building is structurally unsound, is posing a risk to responders, and we are actively working for the best course of action for the building. We have a continued concern for the stability of the building, and we continue to ask the public to avoid the area.
According to Russia's defense ministry, Ukraine has launched one of its greatest drone attacks on Moscow this morning. Russian officials have called it the most serious attack on Moscow since Nazi attacks during World War II and called the war a new reality as it's now on Moscow's doorstep. All of the drones were shot down and destroyed as they approached the city. Some residents forced to evacuate as the drones were shot down. According to Russia, no injuries were reported and there was minor damage to buildings. Russia calling it a terrorist attack. Ukrainian drone attacks inside Russia have been growing in intensity in recent weeks, although Ukraine has not publicly acknowledged launching attacks on targets inside Russia. According to the New York Times, U.S. intelligence believes Ukraine was behind a drone attack on the Kremlin earlier this month. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has been suspended from his job after the House voted to impeach him before the end of the state's legislative session.
No one person should be above the law, least not the top law enforcement official of the state of Texas. We each took an oath of office. Attorney General Paxton took an oath of office. He violated that oath. He put the interests of himself above the laws of the state of Texas.
The 20 articles of impeachment have now been delivered to the Senate, where Paxton will face trial. The impeachment trial will be no later than August 28th. Paxton is accused of bribery and abusing the public's trust, among a list of other allegations. If 2/3 of the Senate finds him guilty, then Paxton would be permanently removed from office. Paxton responded to the impeachment vote in the House, calling it a politically motivated sham. Elizabeth Holmes will start her 11 years prison sentence today. The disgraced Theranos CEO will begin her federal prison stay for her part in fooling investors into a blood testing hoax. Holmes will be incarcerated in a women's prison camp in Texas, leaving behind 2 young children. Holmes was convicted on 4 counts of fraud and conspiracy in January of last year. These are your top stories. Thanks for joining us for the Rundown. We're on a mission to bring back trustworthy journalism by serving only you, not an agenda. Be sure to check out more of our work at straightarrownews.com. And you can also find the latest Rundown episodes available as a podcast on all major podcast platforms. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, I'm Kara Rucker. Have a great day.